Let's get straight into it. And I want to start with a little story about the Canberra bubble, the Canberra bureaucracy, and a little oopsie, or as they say in politics, a gaffe. Yes, that's right, a gaffe, which is a term which has been famously defined as when someone in politics accidentally tells you the truth. Well, this gaffe, this accidental truth-telling, is an absolute classic in terms of telling us stuff we didn't already know, but which it is already pretty nice to have confirmed. So here's what happened. Well, it seems that an ABC business reporter put in a Freedom of Information request to the Department of the Treasury asking for the briefings that Treasury prepared for the incoming government at the last federal election. Now, these are briefings that they do, and they give to whoever wins, whether they're the incumbent, whether they're the challenger, whether they're Labor or Liberal. It's basically a big booklet that says, here's the state of play with each department that goes to the new ministers. And guess what happened here? Well, Treasury accidentally came through with the goods. And they gave our friend at the ABC a version of the briefing that was not properly redacted, i.e. it did not have all the juicy bits that they didn't want people to know crossed out. And it contains some pretty interesting truths. Truths like, well, you know, that $1.2 million home building target that the government has been promising that they were going to meet. Well, according to the briefing, that's impossible. And all that big spending the government's been doing, well, according to the Treasury, it's going to require higher taxes. And if we weren't taxed enough already, also, they said they're going to need to cut spending as well if they're ever going to get the budget back into some sort of good health. Now, we knew all of this already, but this made for some fun moments at a press conference today with the Treasurer.
The incoming government brief makes an assessment of the government's policies, your election commitments, and then gives advice about implementation. But this one says that the housing target would not be met. What gives? It seems like the challenges in the sector are too great for the government's policy.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you're responding to a subheading in a document, a partial. You're referring to governments don't release the incoming government brief. It's been released in error, and that's. You know, these things happen from time to time. As I said before, I'm pretty relaxed about it.
Yeah, did he look pretty relaxed about it to you? Anyway, sure you are, Treasurer. Now, the Treasurer also went the full word salad after being asked this question.
You've always spoken about the importance of and value of independent advice. Treasury says you can't fix the budget without raising taxes or slashing spending. So are you open to this advice?
Straightforward question, but what do you reckon? Do you think the Treasurer gave a straightforward answer?
Well, a couple of things about that. I mean, first of all, you're responding to some headings in the advice that we've got in the incoming government brief. What's happened here is a Treasury official has sent those documents in error. That sort of thing happens from time to time. We've already made it really clear that we will need to do more to meet our housing targets. So the priorities which are being reported today are not, those are the sorts of things that I have mentioned before, including at the National Press Club. I gave a whole speech on how we need to do more to meet our housing targets. We do need to do more to make our budget more sustainable and our economy more productive.
Listen, Treasurer, the first rule of holes is when you're in one, stop digging. I mean, that was some real Bart Simpson giving a book report there on a book he didn't read kind of stuff. Now, of course, hilariously, the Treasury tried to quash the story, and when they released the data in error, they asked the ABC reporter to delete the email, delete the incorrectly redacted brief, and I gotta say, good on the reporter, he said, fat chance. But you know what? This all gets to a bigger problem here, and that is the nature of truth and government and what we, the people, you and I, are allowed to know rather than just assume. Because you know what's the funny thing here is that what's been revealed here is the way the Canberra game works. It's like an episode of Yes, Minister or Utopia. hide the facts, hope we don't figure it out, redact the things they don't want us to know, and let everyone keep on doing what they're doing ad infinitum. Now, this issue, the stuff that was in that report, not going to meet the housing targets, spending too much money, these aren't secrets. These are not the sort of things here that are like issues of national security, we're not talking about a document that accidentally got released with the specifications of like our over-the-horizon radar, or what are we looking at acquiring in the way of underwater drones, or hell, what face cream the Prime Minister uses to say looking so youthful. No, this stuff is the real basic bread and butter stuff of government. Our tax money, houses, bread and butter stuff, as I say. And I'm sorry, this government, the Albanese Labour government, let's not forget, they came to power in 2022 on the basis of saying, hey, we're going to be transparent, we're going to be open, we're going to be honest, we're not going to hide stuff from you. And also, by the way, we trust the advice of public servants. Well, how about, guys, I don't know, maybe putting this stuff into practice? That could be nice. And there's one more thing, too. All of this was playing out today. The Treasurer had that cringeworthy press conference, and one question kept ringing in my head. Where is the opposition in all of this? Do we even have an opposition these days? This kind of issue, we've got this big release in the incoming government briefing that tells us the actual truth about the state of things, not what Chalmers and Albanese want us to think. Well, I don't know. Call me crazy, but it seems like the sort of thing that Susan Ley might have hopped on as an issue. Or maybe the shadow treasurer, Ted O'Brien. Well, look, he did, too, in his defense. He sent out a media release late in the morning, around 11:14. But as far as I can tell, and I watched the news all day, that was pretty much all we heard from the opposition. I have to wonder, why wasn't everyone in shadow cabinet out hopping on this issue saying, typical Labour, they're addicted to spending and taxing you more? This is Politics 101, and I gotta say, this opposition needs to spend less time talking about itself and start coming up with solutions for an Australia that, as that leaked briefing reveals, is going badly off track.